All right, welcome into a delayed high noon with me, Pugs Moran. We do the show live every Monday through Friday. We shoot for noon, but we had a little bit of an issue today. I had a bit of an issue. Restream had a bit of an. I don't know. I don't know what happened. There was just a lot of drama around here over the last hour. I've got Ed, who runs Radio Misfits. He's wonderful. He knows everything. But Ed is like me, and that is that our first response is to yell. So I try to keep things off of Ed's plate. And, and so I spent a good 45 minutes trying to figure out exactly what was wrong with the stream today. And I don't know what I'm doing. So I think I made it worse. And then finally I broke down and called Ed, and he fixed it in a matter of seconds. And I should have done that from the very beginning. But pride, and an unwant, is that even a word? A lack of desire to engage in a screaming match with someone that you don't want to be screaming at. Oh, and you know what else I did? I have to apologize. And I think he's busy working, so he's probably not, paying attention right now. Like, I was so frustrated when I finally called Ed at like 12:10. I called him, that I yelled at him first, because as I said, Ed yells too. So I was anticipating that he was going to yell at me. So my lack of leadership forced me to yell first, which is a complete and total lack of leadership. If you've ever read any leadership books, if you've ever read any books about being in control of a group of people and how to manage them properly, you'll know. It says right there, don't yell first. First, you can yell, but not first. Don't open the conversation with yelling. So poor Ed. I, in anticipation of him yelling at me and making me feel really stupid, I yelled at him first, and then he fixed it. And now I feel bad, as I always do in these situations, because yelling does not get. Why is your angle flipped? What do you mean the angle is flipped? Don't do this to me. What do you mean the angle is flipped? Oh my God, dude. I haven't touched this setup since we ended the show on Friday. I walked behind the little desk here and I started the setup for the show, and everything was different. That's what caused these problems early on in today's show. The angle is flipped. The angle is flipped. I don't know, but I like it better. I like it. I don't know. I have no. It has to be a display setting. I don't care, because when I want to show something, everything's right for me now. Everything is proper. Can you people handle it, or is it terrible, or is it something that you can't handle? Oh, okay. Oh, it is listening. Oh, okay. The angle is flipped. Oh, how's that now? All right, that's probably. Is that better? Is that better, or is it the same? I think it's the same. Is the angle still? I think it's the same, because when I want to show something here, I typically have to do it here because it's backwards for me. Oh, it's better. All right. Well, hey, I'm not going to, whatever. I don't care. As long as we're doing the show, because we got a lot of stuff we got to talk. We got a lot of fun stuff today. Today's a fun show. Now it's normal, fixed. All right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate the patience today. No, Ed fixed it. Ed, Radio Misfits. Thank him by listening to some of the fantastic podcasts that he has there, because they are fantastic. I did not fix anything. I fixed nothing. That was Ed. Ed snuck into he can remotely come in and tweak everything. But it still seems like, okay, so if I got something, I don't know. Now I'm confused. I was in such a good mood too today. Such a good mood. No, the dog didn't kill me. Although I have to tell you, the master of the house is back. We do the show here from the Comfort Nest 1%er guest house. And the master of the property had been out on spring break for a week with his family. And, teaching the youngster how to do beer bongs and judge bikini contests, that sort of thing. And the dog has been terrible. The dog gets so mad when all the dog's people aren't here at the house. The dog just turns into such a jerk. And me and the dog got into a big fight where she like growled at me like she was mad, and I had to get the discipline stick. And as soon as I don't hit her with the discipline stick is a long piece of bamboo. But if I just hold the discipline stick, she like totally gets cool. She's like, "All right, I'm sorry, I was out of line." She destroyed her bed in the house. She threw a tantrum because her master has been missing for like 10 days. So she destroyed her mattress. Then she comes up here giving me attitude, and she wouldn't move, and I tried to move her and she growled at me. And so I took the discipline stick and I weaved it in her face, and she was like, all right. And she got down immediately. So at least that was good. But yeah, that dog's going to kill me. Dog's not going to kill me. I'm actually worried about the dog killing somebody else. That's not a joke. It's not a joke. I'm worried about that dog. I'm worried. It ain't going to end well for her. She's got a bad attitude. She's got a bad attitude towards everybody but like 5 or 6 people. That's it. 5 or 6 people is her limit. And as I said, I was in such a good mood today because if you're here in the North Texas area, you know it is a garbage day outside. It is. I don't even know what's the weather. What is the weather? Let's check out the weather here. Hold on. Okay. It is currently 57 degrees. Oh, it's 63 degrees. I'm sorry. It just jumped up. It's 63 degrees. It is gray. It is rain. Audio has an echo. Are you kidding me? The audio has an echo. Does anybody else notice that the audio has an echo? Oh, is he fucking with me? If he's fucking with me, he's banned. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. If there is something wrong, yes, I am fragile. But if there is something wrong, then we need to know because I like it to be okay. All right. Sounds fine. All right. Oh, Jeff Glenn. Having my coffee. It's like a dreary day out. It's raining. It's awesome. I love these kinds of days. I spent the entire weekend. I don't know what you guys did this weekend, but I spent the entire weekend fighting with the dog, letting her know who's boss. I spent the entire weekend fighting with the dog, watching F1. F1 is back. I'm so excited. I watched all the practices on Friday. I watched the time trials on Saturday. I watched the full race from beginning to end yesterday. I am telling you, when the F1 racing organization agreed to allow Netflix to do this documentary series on their racing series, I mean, I like cars, right? But I'm not a NASCAR guy. I mean, I've been to a number of NASCAR races through my work in radio here in Texas. And my uncle was a professional race car driver, then turned mechanic engineer and all that for a very, very, very popular, strong and winning racing team. So I've been to races, but I'm not like I'm not like a racing guy. Like I don't sit down on Sunday and watch NASCAR. Then I fell into this stupid Netflix series, F1 Drive to Survive, and it is so good. You don't even have to like the sport, and you just get completely wrapped up in the drama. It is, this is what I've been calling it. It is the Real Housewives for men. It is the Real Housewives. What Real Housewives is to toxic femininity. This show, F1 Drive to Survive, is the Real Housewives for toxic masculinity. It is so cool. There is just so now I'm like a big F1 fan. So I did that, and then I did something else this weekend. And by the way, we do 2 streams a day. We do this stream. This is the high noon stream. This is current events driven. We're gonna get into all the headlines of the day, all the trending topics. I'll give you my hot takes on everything that's happening today. And then we come back at 9:00, and me and Parker, that's Pugs and Parker, present Pillow Talk. And it's a little like more conversational based. And I've got something I'm going to lay on James Parker today, because in addition to doing nothing but watching F1 this weekend, I went on YouTube, and I was looking for, there is a drop that I wanted. There is a piece of audio that I wanted. And it's from, do you remember the old Dateline To Catch a Predator series that Chris Hansen did? Well, I wanted the drop of when Chris Hansen catches somebody and he like walks in, like the guy is always shocked, and Chris Hansen always says something like, "Hey, why don't you come on over here, sit down, have a little sweet tea here? Oh, you brought cookies." The sweet tea is the drop that I wanted because I wanted to use it on something. And I didn't find, I found some Catch a Predator stuff, but what I found is that, do you guys know that there is an entire world out there of everyday Joe and Janes that are now doing, like, if you think To Catch a Predator, oh, I wish To Catch a Predator would come back. Nah, don't worry about it. There are regular people doing it better all over YouTube. I watched hours and hours of just amateur predator hunters catching predators in Walmarts and Targets and stuff like that. Oh God. It was the craziest thing. It was depressing. It was depressing, and I just cannot believe that there are that many people out there. I can't believe there's that many pedophiles out there. That's really what I was shocked by. I mean, some of these channels have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of catches, and sometimes the police get involved. Most of the time they don't. But fascinating, just absolutely fascinating stuff. Brady says F1 June 17th and 19th is the best circuit in my opinion. Be sure to catch that one, Montreal. Yeah, life goals. My life goal for this year is to get me and my kid down to Austin for the Circuit of the Americas F1 race. That's because I got him into it too. He's now watching the Netflix documentary, and we talk about it. We call each other and we just say things like box, and then we hang up. We do all kinds of fun stuff. Box is how they say pit. They don't say pit. They don't say pit in the fancy European racing league. They say box. That means come into the pits. So yeah, I'll definitely be watching all of them, Brady. I'll certainly. I am partial to Monaco. I like the Monaco race, that one, but I don't think I'll be getting to the south of France to see an F1 race. So I might have to settle for Austin. Although there are two in America this year. There's Miami. Miami got one this year, so that would be cool. But I can't drive to Miami. At least I don't want to drive to Miami, and that would probably be a little bit pricier than just going down to Austin. We could camp in Austin. Yeah, camp, go down there, and although. That's not F1. Like my life goal for me and my kid going to the Austin Circuit of the Americas F1 race, which is coming up, I think, in September. So it's not really coming up, but it's the end of the summer, end of fall, whatever. You can't F1. You don't camp for F1. You have to stay in a downtown hotel for F1. You got to go out to dinner for F1. It's a little bit more elegant, a little classier. There's, big money. I don't want to be doing like keg stands and an infield. I don't even think they have that in F1. They might though. Who knows? So back to the Predator talk. Tonight on Pillow Talk, I'm going to be playing some of these videos. James Parker and I, we're going to be doing some reaction. You're going to watch with us as we react live to some of these. I've culled from the herd a couple of really good ones, really crazy ones of people. So here's what they do. I'll give you a quick idea of what they do. So there's this one guy who is Canadian, and he's called CP Catcher. And then there's another one, DAP, which is Dads Against Predators. They're really good too. And then there's another, I think they're based in Indianapolis. It's a guy and a girl. And what they do is they go on all of these apps. Not only did I not know that there were this many pedophiles out there or people trying to hook up with kids online, but I didn't know there were this many apps. Like, I know about the dating apps, the big ones. And I've heard of Grindr, which is the gay dating app. And I know Tinder is and all that kinds. But there are other things like We Meet and Scout. And there's all of these weird, sketchy apps. And apparently, this is where the pedophiles are. And some kids, I don't think kids go on there, but I know that these predator catchers go on there. And they create these fake profiles, and they have to be 18. So the rules of the app is that you have to be theoretically, you're supposed to be 18 to be on the app. So these predator catchers go on and they take these fake pictures of like younger kids who are obviously not 18, and they use those as their profile. And then they say stuff like, just looking for some mentorship, just looking for an older man to be friends with, that kind of thing. So there's a little bit of bait going on. I mean, but every time I have a question about it, like I'm watching this thing and I'm going, yeah, but they totally lured this guy in. Like whenever I say that, yeah, they fish baited this guy. This was every time I go there in my mind, I'm immediately shouted down by another thing in my mind goes, yeah, but they're catching this scumbag. I'm like, yeah, that's true. So I guess, any means to an end is the way I feel about it ultimately. So they go on and then, and they have these long, drawn-out conversations with these guys. And these guys get so creepy, these pedophiles. These guys, not just guys either, women. That's right, there are women out there doing it. And they get really creepy. And then they always say, well, we should meet up, blah, blah, blah. And then so they go to the place, they say, well, meet me at the Target on Northwest Highway or whatever. And okay, what are you going to be wearing? And they text the dude. They'd be texting with him while he's in the store, and the guy tells them what the predator will say what he's wearing, and and so then they walk into the store with their cameras rolling, and they just confront this guy or girl, and they get so panicked, and they know they're caught, and they don't know if this is like a police sting or whatever, and they are very accommodating. The predators almost always sit down and then talk to the person because they're well, I know it's wrong. And then they read the emails or the text messages back to the guy. Well, what did you mean when you said you wanted to give the 10-year-old girl a massage and that they could do anything they wanted to you? What did you mean by that? Well, what I meant was it's a massage. I mean, you can give a massage to people. I mean, it's just so bizarre. So that was my weekend. F1, discovering this whole world of predator catchers. And I'm like, I want to do that. At 100% of the, that's not true. Because there was one guy, I was going to say 100% of the predator catchers are like these people that I wouldn't be afraid to confront. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't want to confront a guy that's going to whip your ass in the Target and then you get your ass kicked by a predator who gets, you don't want that. They're almost always, oh God, the amount of church youth pastors, the amount of school teachers, the amount of coaches. Oh my God, it is so depressing. So look forward to that. We're going to do some reaction videos. We're going to watch some of those tonight on Pillow Talk. All right. Jeff says, Pugs, I'm sorry, Pugs. There is no echo. I didn't realize I had you open in two windows. I'm blaming it on the pain med. Sorry. Well, I'm sorry. I hope that your pain goes away. What was the best channel I want to see? I like DAP. I like Dads Against Predators. Oh, also, some guy that goes by the name is it like Jeezy Hansen or something? He's doing like a whole Chris Hansen bit, but he's really good. Dude, just type into YouTube predator catchers and go from there. You'll just find tons of stuff. I mean, I started with To Catch a Predator and I had to go through a whole bunch of garbage. But if you just put it here, let me see. You know what? Here, I'll tell you which ones are good ones. I'll give you the good ones. Here. Who do I like? Who do I think is good? DAP is good. That's Dads Against Predators. They're good. Their channel is come on. Their channel is DAP Inc. DAP DAP Inc. Got 163,000 subscribers. Who else do I? Skeeter Gene. That's it. Skeeter. It's Skeeter. He calls himself Skeeter Hansen. He's my favorite. I like him. Skeeter Gene. Skeeter Gene. Jean. And a lot of these predator catchers are like big black dudes who, when you're catching like a creepy 50-year-old white guy, and they're always gross. Oh, they're always gross. It's like, what on earth makes you think that a 12-year-old girl would be interested in you? Oh my God. And a lot of them are meth heads. There was one guy, they met him in the park and they walked up to him at a picnic bench at a park, and he already had his pants around his ankles. He was already sitting there. All right, but look, Byron, you stay with this show. You watch these later, okay? You don't go. I don't need the competition. I'm just telling you. I like to talk to these guys too. I would love to talk to Skeeter Gene because he's my favorite. I'm a Skeeter head. I'm a big fan of Skeeter Gene. But also there's CP Catchers is good. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. And then sometimes the police show up because when a bunch of people with cell phones out are circling one dude in a parking lot of a Walmart, somebody's going to call the police. And the police always show up. And sometimes the police are terrible. And sometimes the police are really cool. But sometimes the police just let the predator go. And they're like, yeah, we don't care. You can't be doing it. The whole vigilante. We hate vigilantes thing. So, it is what it is. But it's, let me get rid of that. Sorry, I'm going to reopen my stuff here because I closed it out trying to find you guys Skeeter Gene. Skeeter Gene, I like him. He comes with a whole notebook and a file, and he opens the file and he's got pictures of the people all printed out, and it's pretty great. But you're going to be shocked. You're not going to like the world that we live in. I was watching this and I'm like, holy cow. The good news is that most of the people that they catch, they look like predators. They look, so whatever your intuition is, if you see somebody and you go, yeah, I don't want my kid hanging out with that guy, you're probably right, because they all do sort of have this look and this vibe about them. But I'll tell you, man, I'm glad my kid doesn't go to church counseling or church, youth groups or anything like that, because, oh boy, that's where they hide. They get involved in that stuff. Not all of them. There are some good people. I'm not going to besmirch the entire, some people are just genuinely good, but unfortunately, the people who are genuinely bad know that they can sort of blend in with the genuinely good. So I got to call these people out. It was a cop. They caught a cop. Dude was a cop, and they caught him. It's like, holy cow. Get out of here. All right, let's get into today's show. We have wasted more than enough time. Jeff says, I bet not a single one of the predators you saw was a guy in a dress either. Am I right? You'd be wrong, Jeff. You'd be wrong. I know where you're going for, but there's one dude. There's one dude who is a cross-dresser. And he was trying to pass himself off as a girl to meet another girl. And he did not look good. He looked totally fake. Another dude claimed that he was 29 years old when he was obviously 70. And he said, here's my picture. And this guy thought his picture made him look like he was 29 years old, but he wasn't. All right, let's get into today's show. Let's talk about all the things that are trending. That's what we do here on the on the High Noon Show. We cover all the things that are trending, hot topics and all that. And if you want to hear more about the Predator thing, tune in tonight for Pillow Talk at 9:00 Central Time. All right, let's do this. Let's see. Today is March the 21st. It is Monday, March the 21st. It is rainy. It is not cold, but it's rainy and gray. Kind of a shitbox day out there, if you ask me. But I like shitbox days. So it is the 80th day of the year, the 81st day if we're counting leap years. I don't think we're doing that. 285 days remain until the end of the year. So as we like to say, get those New Year's Eve plans started. All right, what is today? First, we'll run down what day, what are we supposed to be celebrating today? Today is National California Strawberry Day. Okay, strawberries, hot take on strawberries. Not a hot take on California because I like California, but my hot take on strawberries is that strawberries are the most overrated fruit there is. Strawberries always look like they're going to be delicious, and you bite into them and it's just wet dirt. Strawberries. They've figured out a way to make strawberries look red and ripe and beautiful. And you're like, oh, I'm getting these ones. These look awesome. And then you bite into it and you're like, oh, this is gross. There's no flavor here. This is totally just artificially ripened. It's National Common Courtesy Day. Now, isn't this a nice day? Just common courtesies. Just, be nice, be cool. It's Be Cool Day. National Common Courtesy Day. It's National Countdown Day. I don't know what we're counting down, but that is also March 21st. Let's see what we're supposed to be counting down here. 3, 2, 1, National Countdown Day, March 21st, ticks down the minutes, seconds, or days to events big and small. 3, 2, 1, July 16th, 19th. It's stupid. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about this. National Countdown Day, that's a stupid day. Okay, so it's also National Fragrance Day. Yeah, I don't wear fragrances. I use soap and I clean myself. It's National French Bread Day. I like French bread. French bread is good. French bread is the long one, right? The long one. That's it's always. Here's the thing about French bread. If you are ever watching a movie or TV show, if you ever watch a dramatized situation, movie, TV show, whatever, and somebody has gone to the market, they will have and they're carrying their grocery bag, they will always have a loaf of French bread. Always, 100% of the time, when someone is carrying groceries in a movie or a TV show, there is always a thing of French bread sticking out, because that's how stupid people know they went to the grocery. Happy National French Bread Day. Watch for that. It's one of those, what they call like film laws. You have to. Film laws. Another film law that I like. Whenever somebody's having a conversation with somebody on the phone, they never say goodbye. Never. They never go, all right, well, I got to go. All right, good talking to you. Okay, bye. It's never like that. It's always, yes, so I'll meet you at the place at 8 o'clock. And then they just hang up. No goodbyes ever in movies. Film law. Also, the film law that really bothers me, if two people are riding in a car to do something, like let's say they're going, okay, we'll do that. Let's say they're two detectives and they are driving to someone's house to interview them. No matter how long the drive is, they will never discuss anything about what they're going to talk to the witness about until they have exited the car and are walking up the walkway. When they're walking up the walkway is when they decide to go, hey, let me handle this one, okay? Because you've got a tendency to be a little hot-headed. That's where, or it'll be something like, okay, now she was the one who saw everything, so be sure and not give her too much information. Always, 100% of the time. They never discuss that in the car. They've got like 20 minutes in a car together. They never said. It's only when they're walking up. Some film laws. Those are just some film laws for you. Never hang up. Always have French bread when they've gone to the store. And they don't talk about anything crucial to the plot line in the car when driving. That is saved for the few seconds that they have as they're walking up to the front door. It's also National Single Parent Day. Single parents. Here's to you, single parents. I was raised by a single parent. Difficult. True heroes. Not all heroes wear capes. Some of them are single parents. World Down Syndrome Day. It's World Down Syndrome Day. This is trending across a whole bunch of platforms, World Down Syndrome Day. So that's that. That's happy world. Keep a good thought. There you are. Be nice. See, this goes with common courtesy. Be nice. It's not funny. It is not funny. This is something. Things have changed over the last, 50 years of my life. I mean, when I was younger, when I was a kid, we used to always say things like, good one, retard, all that kind of stuff. Maybe things haven't changed. Maybe I just have. Maybe I've just matured. Maybe that's what it is. But once you have kids and you realize how lucky you are to have a healthy child and not a child, you can't even find the slight. If you're a grown up and you still like think that's a comedy point, to drill down on, to like make fun of like special needs kids or retarded kids or Down syndrome, there's something wrong with you. You know what? It may be something as small as you're just wildly immature, but that is not. It is National Down Syndrome Day. That is trisomy 7. Oh God. Had a doctor tell me that my son had trisomy 7 when he was born. And oh my God. The doctor was an asshole. Doctor was totally wrong. But still, there was a 24-hour, we're doing some additional tests. I think that there's a chance that. And I was like, what? You go, well, he is showing some of the physical characteristics. I'm like, well, you yanked him out of his mom like 6 weeks early. He's, and we had all of the tests that were done ahead of time, right? And he checked out. Everything was fine. They do the tests along the gestation phase, I guess. I don't know. But they do all those tests and it was fine. And then so And when he was born, my kid had like a rough birth. He had a really rough birth. He had a very difficult time. He blew out his lung. He was in the NICU for a while. It was touch and go. And then so on the first night, the doctor pulls me aside and he goes, "We're going to run some additional tests for Down syndrome because we think," and I'm like, whoa. 24 hours took me. I had to go home for 24 hours and wrap my head around the fact that I was going to have a child with Down syndrome. And it was the worst night of my life. And then I get there in the morning and the regular doctor, who was a great doctor, the regular doctor is in the room with my wife, and he's talking and they're laughing and everything's fine. And she's holding the baby. And I pull the doctor aside and I go, "So this guy in the NICU last night said that they were going to test him for Down syndrome." And our doctor went livid. He got so angry. He's like, "What? Who was he? He said that to you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he said that to me. And I didn't sleep last night and I need to know, is everything all right?" He's like, "There is no test. He's not being tested for it. We've already tested him for it. He's fine, blah, blah, blah." Oh, thank God. So whatever, but my God. And that's a really scary thing. So God bless the parents with kids who have these challenges. They are the most amazing people on the planet. They are. I mean, because of course, you're going to love that child more if it's even possible to love the child more. But now it's just like a whole different ball game, and so there you go. It's National Down Syndrome Day. All right, let's go through some of the things that happened on this day. On this day in 1928, Charles Lindbergh is presented with the Medal of Honor for his first solo transatlantic flight, a medal that he didn't have to get back when he backed the Nazis in World War II. We all just forgot about that. Medal of Honor winner, he's on the side of Hitler. You know this, right, about Lindbergh? He's on the side of Hitler, and he's an American Medal of Honor winner. Charles Lindbergh. Burn in Hell. 1946, on this day, the Los Angeles Rams signed Kenny Washington, making him the first African-American player in professional American football since 1933. Since 1933, this is interesting because in the early days of the NFL, they had no problem with black players because nobody cared about the NFL and they were just trying to play football and they needed people to play. Then, once NFL football in 1933 started to get kind of big, the racist owners were like, "All right, we're banning black people," even though black people were allowed to play for like the first 13 years of the league. Like, "We're banning black people. They can't play anymore." And then that held all the way until 1946, when Kenny Washington. So anytime people are like, "Well, this football," no, football was worse than baseball because football allowed black people to play the sport and then said, "Yeah, never mind," and then said, "You can't play because of your skin color." And then it took them to 1946 when the Los Angeles Rams signed Kenny Washington on this day. Now look at the league. Now, where would the NFL be if it was just all white guys? Just imagine how slow the passing game would be. There'd be no cornerbacks. It'd be just So here's to you, the American black NFL athlete and Canadian. And I guess there's probably guys from other places. I don't know. On this day in 1952, Alan Freed, he presented the Moondog Coronation Ball. It was what is known as the first rock and roll concert ever on this day in 1952. That was in Cleveland, Ohio. Alan Freed is an interesting guy. Alan Freed was a DJ in Cleveland and then New York. And, he coined the phrase rock and roll. He was playing when he was in Cleveland. He started playing this music that wasn't, what was known at the time as blues. It wasn't country. It wasn't pop. It was something a little bit different. And it had no name. The genre had no name. So Alan Freed coined the phrase rock and roll and became one of the most important disc jockeys of the rock and roll era. And of course, he died penniless in a flop house because, he was a radio guy. And that's Alan Freed, first rock and roll concert ever held tonight in 1952 in Cleveland. 1963, on this day, Alcatraz closed. Yep, Alcatraz closed. Is it still? I don't know. Is it open? Is it closed? I don't know. I have no idea. Whatever. I saw Alcatraz when I was in San Francisco once. I was like, check it out, Alcatraz. But there you go. On this day in 1970, San Diego Comic-Con was held, the largest pop culture festival in the world. The very first time, San Diego Comic-Con, and then it just completely went away. There was no such thing as Comic-Con ever again. 1970. Now it's like, it used to be like, I don't know, like 20 years ago. It was big. Comic-Cons were big 20, 30 years ago. But it was like nerd culture, right? It was all like, oh, nerd goes. Now everybody goes. Comic-Cons are cool. I've been to a couple of them. They are very cool. They are awesome. You can have a really good time at a Comic-Con. 1980, and it's not just comic books. It's not. It's, they debut trailers for new Marvel films, and they have all the stars there, and it's big time Comic-Cons. And started on this day in 1970. On this day in 1980, U.S. President Jimmy Carter announces a United States boycott of the 1980 Summer Olympics. That's right. We sat out the 1980 Summer Olympics in Moscow because we were in protest of the Soviet-Afghan War. So there you go. 2006. Oh, happy birthday, Twitter. On this day in 2006, the social media site Twitter is founded. I like Twitter. I like Twitter the best of all the social media sites. I like it because I have more control over the nonsense that I'm exposed to. And I can't even quantify it. I wouldn't even know how to explain what I mean by more control. I'm not triggered as easily. Facebook triggers me like crazy. And I don't know why it is. I can't. I can't go on. I don't fight with anybody on Twitter. Twitter's just fun. Twitter is just fun. I just say silly shit. And then, I don't have like 100 people going, I used to like you, but now you suck. And I can't believe you would have that thought. Twitter is just like, all the people that follow me on Twitter follow me because they like me. It's not just because we went to school together 20 years ago. I don't know. I just like it. Let's do some birthdays. Born on this day in 1949, Eddie Money, American singer and songwriter and guitarist. He died in 2019. Couple of months back, I rediscovered Eddie Money. I don't know what I was doing, but I think it was when Ronnie Spector died. Yeah, so maybe it was just like a month, 2 months ago. And I was listening to his song, Take Me Home Tonight, with Ronnie Spector. And then I just fell into an Eddie Money music hole, and he's awesome. Eddie Money was awesome. Okay. Eddie Mahoney, that was his real name. Eddie Mahoney, changed it to Eddie Money. He's dead, though, 2019. Kelly and I interviewed him once. He was wonderful. He was really nice. He was just a really nice, cool guy. Hey, everybody's me, Eddie Money. I mean, that's what he was. He was wearing a jean jacket, even though it was like 2009. He still looked like Eddie Money. I like him. He was good. Shaking, and she was shaking. Oh. Eddie Money was cool. 2 Tickets to Paradise. Eddie Money was cool. Here's what I realized when I fell into the Eddie Money hole. I'm like, this dude's got a lot of hits. Eddie Money's got way more hits. I mean, off the top of your head, you can maybe name 2 or 3, but then you're like, holy shit, this guy had like a crap ton of hits. And because we don't think of it much, you listen to it for the first time in 30 years, you're like, yeah, I can see why this was a hit 30 years ago. It's a good song. Happy birthday, Sergei Lavrov. That's right, the Russian politician, diplomat, current Minister of Foreign Affairs. He's basically like the Secretary of State of Russia. Hope he's having a nice birthday today. Brad Hall, born on this day in 1958. Who's Brad Hall? Brad Hall had a cup of coffee with Saturday Night Live back in the 80s. He's a writer, performer. He didn't do much on Saturday Night Live. Very forgettable. One of the most forgettable Saturday Night Live performers, cast members. But what he is probably best known for is landing a whale of a wife. And he has been married to Julia Louis-Dreyfus ever since they were together on Saturday Night Live. He got Julia Louis-Dreyfus when she was, if you remember her on Saturday Night Live, she was like 22 years old. She was adorable. She was just adorable. She was funny. She had money. She's a billionaire. Her family, the Dreyfus family, they're like billionaires. So Brad Hall landed her, and they've stayed together forever. They seem very happy. Why? Because they seem like cool people. So happy birthday, Brad Hall. You were punching above your weight, and you stuck with it. You went all 15 rounds. They're still married. They've been married like 40 years. 40 years? I don't know. Whatever. They've been married a long time. Brad Hall and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Gary Oldman, born on this day in 1958, English actor, filmmaker. Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman movie draft. Nope, not going to do it. Born on this day in 1960, Ayrton Senna. Ayrton Senna. I told you I had an F1 weekend. Ayrton Senna, if you're talking about the great F1 drivers of all time, Ayrton Senna is certainly a top fiver. I would think Ayrton Senna was killed in an F1 car. It's the other reason why I like F1, because life is legitimately on the line. People die in these things. It's like you watching it and it's like, ooh. Ayrton Senna. Where would I place Ayrton Senna? I'd go more Ayrton Senna. Oh boy, but what about Niki Lauda? It's a toss-up for third place in greatest F1 drivers of all time between Ayrton Senna and Niki Lauda. But Ayrton Senna was born on this day in 1960. Well, who's 1 and 2? Well, 1 is obviously Sir Lewis Hamilton. So Sir Lewis Hamilton is the GOAT of F1 racing, and we're lucky enough to be in an era where Lewis Hamilton is still racing. So if you want to see the GOAT, the greatest F1 driver of all time, that would be Lewis Hamilton, who drives for Team Merck. 7-time world champion. And number 2 is, of course, Michael Schumacher. Michael Schumacher, who some people still are like, oh, Schumacher's better than Hamilton. It's because Hamilton's black. That's the other thing about Hamilton. Hamilton is the GOAT of F1 racing, and he is the first black F1 driver of all time in the history of F1. The one black guy comes in and he dominates and immediately becomes the greatest F1 driver of all time. But he's not just the first black F1. He's the only F1 black guy out there. He's the only one. They haven't let anybody else in. I don't know if they let anybody else in, but you know what I'm saying. So there you go. That would be my grouping. Lewis Hamilton, number 1, Michael Schumacher, number 2. All right. It's his birthday. Ayrton Senna, number 3. Then we'll go with Niki Lauda at number 4, and number 5. I'm gonna throw a wrench out here. I'm gonna say Alain Prost. All right, there you go. Happy birthday to the late great Ayrton Senna. Born on this day in 1962, Matthew Broderick, Ferris Bueller, killed a couple people in Ireland. Remember that story? I'm sure he hates this. He hates that this is what some people like me remember. He was in Ireland, and I can totally understand how this happened. But it was rainy, and he was driving to his house in Ireland with I don't know if it was with Sarah Jessica Parker. I don't know. Maybe it was with somebody else. He was driving to his house, and he was tired, and he forgot that he was in Ireland. And so he was driving on the wrong side of the road, and he went head on into a couple of people, and they died. I mean, I don't know, it's terrible, but he's not a murderer. He didn't do it on purpose. It's a terrible, tragic accident. He was at fault because he was driving on the wrong side, but Rosie O'Donnell, born on this day in 1962. Rhys Darby, born on this day in 1974. Rhys Darby is hysterical. He's a New Zealand comedian and an actor. I wanted to mention him. He's one of my favorites. Anything that Rhys Darby is in, I will watch. For those of you who remember the HBO series Flight of the Conchords, Rhys Darby played Maury, their manager, who was really funny. He also does, he's in a lot of the Taika Waititi movies. He's one of those guys, Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi does a whole lot of stuff that they're involved in. And he's in a new HBO Max show. He's the star of a new HBO Max show called Our Flag Means Death. It's a pirate show about a true story about a gentleman pilot, a rich guy from England who wanted to become a pirate back in the 1860s or whatever. Rhys Darby, happy birthday. Born on this day in 1974. Born on this day in 1985, Adrian Peterson, one of the great running backs of all time. Adrian Peterson celebrating a birthday today. Dead on this day, just one I'll mention, Chuck Barris. Chuck Barris from The Gong Show. Chuck Barris wrote a book about his double life as a CIA assassin. And everybody went crazy about it. And it's not true. None of it is true. None of it is true. Chuck Barris was a silly man. He was funny, and he sat down to write his autobiography, and he realized that there was nothing really sizzly about his life. So he concocted this entirely fake biography of his life where he had murdered and assassinated hundreds of people while a double agent for the CIA while also hosting The Gong Show. And there are still people out there that, no, that's true. That's totally, and then like everybody else, anybody credible is like, yeah, you didn't know Chuck. Chuck was just jacking with everybody, and they printed it, and there you go. Yes, I mean, secret agent Chuck Barris of the Gog Show. Okay, so there you go. That's everything that's been happening today. Let's get into the headlines. Let's get into what's trending. Since it's now been over an hour, let me quickly scan to see if there's anything that's new that's trending that has popped up, because we had a bit of a delay on today's show. Since I put together the rundown, let's see, do we have anything new? And remember, I am not going to be getting into any NCAA talk. I'm not going to get into any baseball trades. I don't want to get into any football stuff. All of this stuff is happening, and it's just so blah. All right, well, there you go. First thing, Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is trending. Matt Ryan has been traded from the Atlanta Falcons to the the Indianapolis Colts. This is according to Mike Garofalo of NFL Network. Okay, Supreme Court, we're going to talk about that. Urban Meyer, okay, I'm going to talk about Pusha T. Pusha T and his brother co-wrote McDonald's I'm Loving It jingle in 2003, but he says he made peanuts from the deal. Now he's getting even with a new fish sandwich diss track for Arby's. I have no idea what that is. All right, I know I said no football, but I'm sorry. You can't just have Marcus Mariota trending and me not know where he's going. Falcons are expected to pursue Marcus Mariota. Okay, so the Falcons have gotten rid of Matty Ice, Matt Ryan, and they're going to go with him. They're going to go with Marcus Mariota. Was he back up for the Raiders? I don't know. He kind of disappeared after being traded from the Titans. So NHL Trade Deadline. Oh, great. So now we got NHL trade stuff we got to get into. Okay, got that. Okay. Yesterday was Barron Trump's birthday. Happy birthday, young man. He's 16 years old. Baker Mayfield to Atlanta is trending, but something that's trending harder is that Mariota is going there. So, we will see. All right, that's it. Oh, although wait, Kylie Jenner is trending. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what Kylie Jenner is getting into. Why is she trending? Kylie Jenner gives first look at son Wolf's nursery. Okay, yeah, see, total waste of time. All right, here's the prepared stuff from an hour ago. There was an Amber Alert issued, although I don't think I got it on my phone. It says this is an Amber Alert that was issued in Texas. I don't think I got it. Emergency. Yeah, no, I didn't get this Amber Alert. And it's a Texas Amber Alert, so yes, I did. Okay, there it is. Never mind. 6:10 this morning. Slept right through it. All right. Yep, 6:10 this morning. An Amber Alert has been issued for 2 kidnapped Texas girls. Now, hold on, because I've got a little thing on this. Amber Alert issued for 2 Texas girls kidnapped from West Texas. Not the town of West Texas, I don't think, right? Because there's a town of West Texas that is not necessarily in West Texas. Like the real western area of Texas is 200, 300 miles away from the town of West Texas, which is just north of Austin, right? That's where the check stop is. It's between Austin and Waco. So that's sort of in central East Texas, but the town is called West Texas, and that's very confusing. This is coming out of Pampa, Texas. Pampa, Texas, an Amber Alert was issued early Monday morning for 2 kidnapped West Texas girls. The 2 children are 7-year-old Riley Reagan and 2-year-old Emily Reagan from Pampa, which is 55 miles northeast of Amarillo. Okay, so that's actual western area of Texas. Riley is 4'4" with blonde hair and blue eyes. She was last seen wearing a light-colored tie-dyed sweatshirt with blue jeans and gray shoes with leopard print. Emily is 2'6" with blonde hair and brown eyes. She was last seen wearing a gray shirt with pink and yellow wording on the front, orange and pink tie-dyed pants, along with an orange and blue New Balance shoes. The suspect is 28-year-old Logan Reagan. He is 6'1" and weighs 250 pounds with brown hair along with hazel eyes. Logan Reagan is believed to be driving a 2007 Toyota Tundra with an unknown license plate. Investigators say that he has a black grill guard with front damage in the center and blood from a hog that he hit along the side driver's running board. Okay. So this is the reason I'm talking about this one is because typically I don't want to get into like the really sad, scary Amber Alert stuff. And they're all sad and they're all scary. And this is like probably a very freaky, horrible time for the mother. But this is the dad. Like, you know, like I say with school shootings, I always compartmentalize stuff. Like, okay, so is this a school shooting like the one in Oxford, Michigan from a few months back from the springtime, where just some psycho kid just randomly went in and started killing people? Or is this a school shooting where one member of a gang shot at another member of a gang, and it's, you know, gang related? Not that either one of them are acceptable. They're not. But one is far more disturbing to me than the other. The psycho kid who walks into the school and just decides that he doesn't want to be picked on anymore, and so he's going to mow down everybody in the lunchroom. That is far more. That is really, because you don't know where to begin with that. That's far more complicated. The gang stuff, you can at least go, well, you know, they're gang members and they were shooting other gang members. Again, I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm just saying that in my mind, I compartmentalize these two things. Same as, like, you know, when there's a shooting at a Target, you know, 5 people were shot in the parking lot of a Target. Well, was this just some guy who was walking into the Target looking to just kill random people? Or was this a carjacking or a drug deal gone wrong? You know what I mean? I compartmentalize these things as being on a different scale when it comes to the decline of society. One is far more troubling in my mind than others. And maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong, but that's how I do it. I compartmentalize it. This is one of those Amber Alerts where I compartmentalize it differently. These aren't two beautiful little girls, and we're looking at these pictures of these little cuties. These are not two beautiful little girls who were playing in their front yard and a dude in a creeper van just scooped him up and now he's gone. That's horrifying. This is their dad. This is their dad. Now, I know this could end tragically and this could be really terrible, but for right now in the moment, as I'm looking at this story, I'm thinking, okay, so there's probably a custody issue. There's probably a very ugly divorce going on, and I got to believe that the girls are probably safer being abducted by their father than being abducted by, you know, the stranger in the creeper van who just pulled up. So fingers crossed that this ends up, you know, well, that everything is fine. And let's hope that it's what I am suggesting it might be, just like a dad who's done with, you know, the bitch wife and the custody battles, and he's taking his little girls, and it just feels better to me. It just feels better. Let's see here. What else do we have? We'll see. Again, fingers crossed that this isn't, you know, dads can be psychos too. This could be a terrible, dad could be having some real bad issues. I mean, hell, moms, you know, moms kill their kids, dads kill these are terrible, terrible instances. But a lot of times, you know, it's just, I'll tell you this. I was friends with a girl who was kidnapped for months by her father. And they were living in hotels, and they were moving from hotels to hotels. And then finally the FBI caught up with them in a hotel in, I want to say, like Louisiana. And the dad was arrested and all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't, again, it was just dad saying, your mom is ruining my life. Let's go. I want you. You're my daughter. Let's go do this. And there was no like silliness or anything like that. Nothing horrible was going on. It was a father who loved his daughter, who didn't, you know, so she wasn't injured. She wasn't hurt. It was just, we just lived in hotels one summer. We just went from hotel to hotel, driving across the country. So that's the best case scenario for a situation like this. It's all a terrible situation. I mean, you don't want to be involved in it. I mean, certainly you don't want this going on in your family. But again, I compartmentalize there being a difference between dad who's just had enough. Come on, girls, get in the truck. And, you know, girls playing in the front yard and creeper van pulls up. It's just, okay. So, we've got an update on this. They were found. Let's see here. Let me see if we can find. Rob is saying that they may have been found. Is there an update on this story? No update on this. Hold on. I hope you're right. Okay. Okay, when was this? All right, let's go to the absolute latest. No. 2 little girls abducted in Pampa, Texas, believed to be in danger. Are looking for Logan Daniel Reagan. What's the time on these? I'm not seeing any resolution to the story I was talking about. Unfortunately, there's probably other missing girls out there. An Amber Alert. When was this posted? Okay, this is this morning. Hold on, I'm really invested in this story now. What are their names? Logan Daniel Reagan. Okay. Give me a second here, folks, because if this has a resolution to it, I'd really like to see it. Yeah, no, as of an hour ago, the little girls we're talking about here are still sadly missing. And this comes from Houston. Let's see, the other one I was reading came from WBAP. An Amber Alert for 2 little girls were reported missing. Again, this is posted an hour ago. So hopefully NBC Austin, KXAN. All right, hold on. Okay. Let's go to KXAN. KXAN News. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, this isn't the same one, Rob. This is unfortunately different. Oh, wait a second. Maybe it's not. Hold on. 2 girls who went missing from a town in Texas Panhandle have been found. Texas issued a tweet at 6:54 saying that it's at 2 and 7. Yes. All right. This is it. Very good. Texas DPS wasn't clear in its update if the suspect wanted in connection with the abduction. 28-year-old Logan Reagan was found or taken into custody. All right. All right. There you go. So that Amber Alert has been resolved. 2 little girls are good. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate that. And that is how I rely on you people for when I'm distracted doing other things. Let's see here. Chinese plane crash. We got a Chinese plane crash also trending here. We'll pull this one up. This has got some pretty wild video. Oh my God, my obsession with plane crashes is coming to a head here. Let's watch this. Oh my gosh. Good Lord. Hold on. Gotta wait for this stuff to come up. How do they have video of this? I don't understand how they have video of this 737 in China just falling from the sky, and they've got video of it. So here, let's just pop that up. Here we go. Ooh, some nice thunder. Look at that. Look at that. That is the plane just falling out of the sky. 350 miles per hour, it said this plane fell out of the sky. Like a missile, just right there into the ground. It's a Boeing 737. There it is. Let's see. Hours after a Chinese airplane carrying 132 people crashed Monday into a mountainous area in the southern province of Guangxi, there was no word on the number of dead or injured. Well, I mean, that looks pretty conclusive. That video right there, I don't know how anybody survives that. The Boeing 737-800 operated by China Eastern Airlines crashed with 123 passengers and 9 crew members on board. The crash sparked a large fire that was extinguished. State media reported late Monday that forecast rain and mountainous terrain at the crash site may complicate search efforts. Only debris from the wreckage had been found. And yeah, There you go. Okay. So we had a plane crash. We don't have plane crashes very much, but there we go. We had one today. It's over in China. What else is happening today? Okay, Ketanji Brown Jackson, the Supreme Court lady or the Supreme Court hopeful. She is sitting in front of Senate. She's doing her hearings today. It's going to be going all day long. Don't really have much I want to say about that, but you can watch it if you want. It's live streaming. It is the confirmation or Senate questioning of Ketanji Brown Jackson. Also, the Supreme Court got some more news here. Clarence Thomas is in the hospital. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas was admitted to a Washington, D.C. hospital on Friday with flu-like symptoms. The court says 73-year-old does not have COVID and could be released in the next few days after flu-like infection began abating. The Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas was admitted to hospital after experiencing flu-like symptoms and was then found to have an infection, the court said late on Sunday evening. A court spokesman told news outlet that Thomas, who had been vaccinated and boosted, did not have COVID-19. The court offered no explanation for why it waited 2 days to disclose that the justice was in the hospital. Thomas, a statement said, was admitted to Sibley Memorial Hospital in Washington, D.C. on Friday evening after experiencing flu-like symptoms. He's how old is he? He's like 73, something like that. He's 73 years old. You're a Supreme Court justice. You have flu-like symptoms. They seem to be pretty serious. You're 73 years old. You go to the hospital. That's why he's in the hospital. Don't know if it's any more serious than that, but a Supreme Court justice, he gets, they dot all the I's. That's all I'm saying. They make sure that that he is getting treatment, because we all know what happens in this country when a vacancy occurs on the court. All hell breaks loose. We have one going on right now with this Ketanji Brown Jackson stuff. Ted Cruz is trending today. Why is he trending? You guys, I'm going to have to defend Ted Cruz here. Oh, God, I can't even really. Ted Cruz is trending because apparently somebody with a cell phone, they got cell phones in Bozeman, Montana, or wherever the hell he was. Ted Cruz apparently got into it with someone at an airport. Not just like a person who went, Ted Cruz, you suck. Or, hey, Ted Cruz, there are no flights to Cancun out of this airport. Something like that. It wasn't like that. Ted Cruz got into it with some ticket agent. And I'll tell you, I'll let you see it. Okay, I'm gonna let you see it, and then I'll tell you why I'm going to defend him on this one. Here we go. Hold on. Okay. All right. Ted Cruz, and what's going on here? What? All right. Never mind. All right, but we'll show it this way. Okay. Here we go. I mean, it's definitely Ted Cruz. Some people are like, that's not Ted Cruz. I'm like, nah, that's definitely Ted Cruz. That's for damn sure Ted Cruz. All right, so here he is. Can't hear what he's saying. I can't make it any bigger. I apologize. All right. He seems to be arguing with a ticket agent about something. And then the police had to be called. I don't know if they had to be called or if they weren't. There's the officer. And there's Ted Cruz. All right, one more time. We'll watch it one more time. And I'll tell you why I got to defend Ted Cruz. I can't even think. All right, there we go. Now, far be it for me to defend Ted Cruz. But airports are so frustrating. All right, it's airports. We have no way of knowing what he was arguing about. I have been in situations where the gate agent or the airline themselves have screwed up, and you're already running late. Apparently, the backstory here is that he was running late. And actually, there's two backstories, and I don't know which one to believe. But the bottom line, and why I feel as if I need to defend Ted Cruz a little bit here. I mean, he's a jerk. Don't get me wrong. He's the most despised person in both houses, Congress or Senate. but we can't hear him. We can't hear what he's saying. We can't hear what his problem is. We have no idea. It's so, this is just people that they got video of Ted Cruz looking agitated, and now it's trending, and everybody's, having a good time about it. Oh man, it is storming. It is storming, Norman. So there you go. Ted Cruz, former presidential candidate, lost his temper at a Bozeman airport. I didn't really read the story, did I? Yeah, don't need to. I just told you everything that you need to know about it. Babylon Bee. All right. Babylon Bee is trending. What is Babylon Bee? Babylon Bee is a far right. They claim to be a parody news site, kind of like The Onion. But the problem with the Babylon Bee is that, the majority of the people I think who read it don't know that it's a parody site. So you always know when someone's a moron when they forward something that appeared in a site like the Babylon Bee, and they act as if it's real good. Well, I can't believe this. This is why the libs have to all be put in camp. Stuff like that. Dude, it's a joke site. The Babylon Bee has been suspended from Twitter. They've had their Twitter card pulled. Why? I mean, if I was in charge of Twitter, I would not have suspended them for this. There are probably any number of things that you could have suspended them for over the years, but this is ridiculous. To me, anyway. Babylon Bee Twitter account locked due to anti-transgender tweet. All right, here's what they did. Twitter locked out the owners of the Babylon Bee account over a tweet mocking U.S. Assistant Secretary of Health, Rachel Levine, who is a transgender woman. All right, so do we know who Rachel Levine is? She's the Assistant Secretary of Health. She used to be a guy, and then she found her true self, and now she's Rachel. She's a woman. She is a woman. She has transitioned into a woman, and she is the Assistant Secretary of Health here in the United States. She's transgendered, and the Babylon Bee named her their Man of the Year. I mean, insensitive? Yeah. But if we're going to start locking people out on Twitter for being insensitive, there's going to be nobody on Twitter. I myself have been insensitive on Twitter. Twitter and social media in general is where people go to be insensitive. Is it a dumb joke to me? Yeah, it's a dumb joke. But, I don't have to appreciate every joke. I am not the emperor of Twitter. I don't determine what should or shouldn't be on there. It seems, like I said, I'm troubled by the very existence of Babylon Bee, not so much because of their editorial content or their journalistic choices, but I'm troubled by it because of the people that they are marketing themselves to, the idiots, because the idiots don't seem to be able to know when something is being totally made up and presented as actual news. But this was a joke. They made a joke. The satirical website CEO Seth Dillon expressed outrage at the action on Sunday and said the Babylon Bee will not delete the tweet, which linked to an article titled, "The Babylon Bee's Man of the Year is Rachel Levine. We're not deleting anything," Dillon said. "Truth is not hate speech. If the cost of telling the truth is the loss of our Twitter account, then so be it." Okay, well, get on over to Telegram or Parler or any of the other weird ass. See, you people don't want to be on those websites. You guys don't want to be on Trump's social media platform. Truth. You don't want to be on Truth. You don't want to be on Telegram. You don't want to be on, because that's just preaching to the choir. That's just a whole bunch of weird people like you. And when I say a whole bunch, I'm not even using that accurately, because there's nobody on those sites except weirdos. And you don't want to be there. You want to be on Facebook. You want to be on Twitter. That's why it hurts so much when the mainstream social media, and that's what they are. They are mainstream. They're mainstream American social media platforms. They're not for people who are crazy right and crazy left. By the way, I signed up for Truth Social, which is supposed to allow you to be truthful. It's like, well, President Trump's got the Truth Social, that whole thing. And I put in my thing, I was writing, you have to fill it out. I put anti-Trumper, no MAGA in my thing. They have not approved me. They have not approved. We're sorry. I got a letter from them that says that there is a waiting list because Truth Social, Trump's social media platform that's being run by Devin Nunes, is so incredibly popular that they just can't possibly. But the fact of the matter is, I wanted to see. I wanted to see if I put something anti-Trump on Truth Social, which is supposed to be all about free speech. I wanted to see if they would allow me a handle, if they would allow me a place in their little party, and they haven't. And it's been a month now. It's been a month. I've got nothing from them. So that's some bullshit over there. And that is why people like Babylon B don't want to be on Telegram, don't want to be on Truth Social. Is Parler even a thing anymore? Remember when Parler was going to be bigger than Twitter? And now I don't even know if it's still around. They want to be on Twitter. However, I will say this. I don't think Twitter should have blocked their account for that. I would not have, if I was emperor of Twitter, I would not have locked Babylon B out for that bad joke, that tasteless joke, because I occasionally like tasteless jokes. While the Babylon B's account is still visible, it cannot post until the relevant tweet is deleted, Dylan said. After deleting the tweet, the account would then be restored within 12 hours. Seth Dillon tweeted, how did he tweet this? How does he tweet? I don't know. How does he tweet that he doesn't like that he can't tweet anymore? We at the Babylon Bee stated the fact that a man is a man through satire. And that's what they are. They're a satire site, which is another reason why they shouldn't be deleted or locked, because they are a known satire site. Now, they only seem to lean into the satire label when it's convenient for them, but they are 100% all the time, 24/7, a satire site. If people are too dense to get when they're being satirical and they just want to pass on these crazy things like they're real truth, then that's fine, because the disinformation game works for certain people. And the Babylon Bee, they love the disinformation game. But when they get pushback on what it is, then they always say, oh, we're a satire site. Oh, we're supposed to police whether or not people can get our satire? No, you can't. And that's why Twitter's in a tough spot here. Twitter's wrong. Twitter should not have locked them out. Free speech is free speech. And honestly, there are people I follow on Twitter. Twitter allows hardcore pornography, like crazy. Like I don't follow it, but I've seen like really come on, Twitter. Somebody at Twitter saw it and was like, oh, well, this offends my sensibility. Yeah, your sensibilities. But other people might find that funny. I find it funny. The tweet that they sent out making Dr. Rachel Levine their man of the year because she's transgender. I find it funny in the stirring of the pot way. Like, oh, people are going to be mad about that. Like, okay, so that's fine. Let people get mad. You want to stir people up, stir people up. Is it a tasteless joke? Yeah. Is it a joke I would have made? No. But I saw it and I was like, ooh, they're looking for trouble. Come on. I was a shock jock for 20 years. You can't do this. You got to let these people do it. You got to let people be idiots. You got to let them be idiots. This is not the first time Twitter has suspended a conservative account over its treatment of Levine. Twitter locked PJ Media's account in November after it tweeted an op-ed titled, Rachel Levine is not the first female 4-star admiral because he's a male, and requested that the conservative website delete the offending tweets. Ooh, boy, is that troubling too. You can have that opinion. Lots of people have that opinion. Twitter cannot enforce a reality that not everyone subscribes to. There is a reality out there on the left and among more progressive-minded people that say, okay, if she wants to be a woman now, she's a woman now, and we're just going to go with that. But that doesn't mean everybody has to see it that way. And there are a lot of people out there who don't see it that way. And you don't have to respect that point of view, but you can't silence it. You can't just silence shit that you don't respect. That's totalitarianism. There is one way of viewing this, and that is all. But I ain't getting off Twitter. Let's see here. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton drew controversy on Thursday when he called Levine a man while sharing a link to an article. Again, his opinion. Is he an asshole? Yeah, I think so. But that's his opinion. You're allowed to have an asshole opinion. There's a lot of assholes out there. And who gets to judge who's an asshole and who's not an asshole? Because there are people who don't think that Attorney General Paxton is an asshole. I do. I think he's a jerk. I think he's a jerk whose entire game is to stir up dumb people. And as long as he can keep all the dumb people stirred up, then he knows he can get their votes. That's an asshole to me. But he shouldn't be silenced. I mean, there should be enough of us out there going, that guy's an asshole. The Babylon Bee has faced several controversies over its promotion of conservative ideas through satire. such as articles about transgender people, including Levine and NCAA swimmer Leah Thomas. The Babylon Bee's Twitter account was briefly suspended in August of 2020 after being mistaken as spam. Facebook also threatened to limit the Babylon Bee's distribution after Snopes declared an article it published about CNN as false. Well, it's satire. Every article published by the Babylon Bee is going to have some falsehoods in it. Facebook later declared that the decision was a mistake. All right. Well, then, you know what? Go after the Onion. Go after the Onion for putting false news stories out there. It's the same thing. Satire has to be allowed. We don't get to control who gets the satire and who doesn't. Bad satire is legal. Or should be legal. It should be allowed. Dairy Queen is trending today. Why is Dairy Queen trending? Well, because for the first time in 2 years, Dairy Queen is doing their annual event where they give out like a free, stupid, tiny little kitty, little baby, little cone, whatever. They give it away for free. And they do it first day of spring, or roundabouts the first day of spring. They haven't done it in 2 years because of the coronavirus, but now they're doing it again. Dairy Queen's Free Cone Day is back after a 2-year hiatus amid the pandemic. The annual Frozen Freebie Fest held around the first day of spring returns this Monday, today. The chain is giving away free, small, vanilla, soft-serve cones all day while supplies last. Long lines are expected for the popular ice cream giveaway. Could you imagine being the kind of person who is willing to wait in line for an hour plus for a free, small, vanilla Dairy Queen ice cream cone? People, I have, working in radio, we used to give away garbage. We used to just you'd be out at a live event and who wants a keychain? And people go insane for free things. They lose all sense. People lose all sense for free, stupid shit. Hey, who wants a t-shirt for a movie nobody's ever going to see? They're like knifing each other to get for the TV. I want that free t-shirt. People going nuts. Just could you imagine in this weather? It's now raining. Imagine waiting in line in the rain at a Dairy Queen for a free, small, vanilla ice cream cone. It should be the kind of thing where you walk in and there's like 3 people in the store and you're like, oh, by the way, you're giving away the free, I'll take one of them free vanilla ice cream. And then there shouldn't be a long line. Long lines are expected. Unless it's all like kids between the ages of 9 and like 13. Kids 9 and 13, you're allowed to be dumb. You're allowed to be stupid. You're allowed to wait in line. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. Free Dairy Queen. Small vanilla ice cream cones. But be prepared to wait in line. Good Lord. I am broke. And I am not going to, well, I'm also on a diet, but I'm not going to wait in line. Even if I wasn't on a diet, I am not going to wait in line for a free, small vanilla ice cream cone from Dairy Queen. Do I have to wait in line if I'm willing to pay regular price for a medium vanilla ice cream cone, or am I just want like a dilly bar, or I just want like a Blizzard or something? Do I have to wait in line with all these yahoos? With all these idiots who can't scrape together the 95 cents or whatever the hell a small vanilla ice cream cone costs? I got to figure that if the lines truly are long, that's going to hurt other business. That people actually who want something else are going to have to wait in line for a bunch of people wanting a free, small vanilla ice cream cone. McDonald's is trending today. Szechuan sauce is trending. Szechuan sauce. Apparently, McDonald's has a secret menu. You know about this? Like there are things that McDonald's has, that they put away, they lock away in the McDonald's vault, and they're never allowed to have them again. Well, McDonald's is rolling out the Szechuan sauce. It's a dipping sauce, and apparently people are going crazy. Not as crazy as they're going for the free small vanilla ice cream cone from Dairy Queen, but people are going crazy. They got the McDonald's Szechuan sauce trending. Now, what is the story behind Szechuan sauce? I'm so glad you asked. Szechuan sauce is a provocative and controversial sauce that McDonald's serves. All right, here's the story. So back in 1998, remember the Disney movie Mulan, the Disney animated show Mulan? It was a very, very progressive new era in Disney. It was the first, one of the first, actually, I think it was the first Disney hero of Asian origin. And it was, because, hey, Asian people deserve to have a Disney cartoon that they like too. So Mulan came out. And Disney and McDonald's struck up a deal, and they made this special Mulan nugget box or whatever. I don't know, whatever. But it had this special Mulan Szechuan sauce, and everybody loved this Szechuan sauce. Everybody's like, this Szechuan sauce is awesome. This is the greatest. They ought to have this all the time. But then something crazy happened. People said that it was racist. People said that the McDonald's dipping sauce was racist. That's racist sauce. This racist sauce is delicious, said everyone else. Now, why was it racist? Well, I'll show you. I'm going to pull up a commercial from McDonald's for the dipping sauce back in the day, and we're going to watch this. This is an old 1998 McDonald's commercial. And McDonald's pulled the sauce, put it in the vault, and would never, ever... Okay, so let's see, where is it? Oh, for crying out loud. All right, hold on. Give me a second here. Nope. Wait. Hold on. I got to find it. Because we are definitely going to watch this. We are definitely going to watch this commercial. Just bear with me. Remember, I had a whole problem. I had a whole problem at the beginning of the show where I had to reboot everything. Hold on, give me a sec. There it is. Very good. Okay. Remember, this is racist sauce. This is racist McDonald's sauce. Oh my goodness. I'm getting hot. All right, here it is. Very good.
Only in theaters. And now, McDonald's presents Mulan action figures, one in every $1.90.
Okay. Remember, this is racist. They had to pull this sauce, hide it away in the vault, and never serve it again because McDonald's was being racist with this Mulan sauce commercial. You be the judge. But it's coming back. So here you go. Ready? Apparently, they've decided that it was stupid to do this.
I am Mulan. Your table is ready.
Everybody's getting into Disney's new epic adventure, Mulan, only in theaters. And now, McDonald's presents Mulan action figures, one in every $1.99 hamburger Happy Meal.
We can't reach the food.
Patience, Father, patience.
The Mulan Happy Meal, only at McDonald's.
Can somebody say McDonald's?
All right, there you have it. That's it. That's a racist commercial. That commercial was racist, and regardless of the fact that everybody loved the Szechuan sauce, McDonald's said, it's the sauce's fault, not the advertising agency or whatever. And can we just talk about that commercial? There is absolutely nothing racist about that commercial. There is one person, somebody at Georgetown University who was an Asian American, started a letter writing campaign and turned it into a whole thing. And I don't even know if it was a whole big thing, but whatever. It got McDonald's to pull the Szechuan sauce and never serve it again. As a civilized society, oh, here he goes. He's going on his civilized society rant. As a civilized society, we have to stop being held hostage by these inauthentic attention whores who are just desperate for someone to pay attention to them. And that's what we have here. We have an inauthentic offense being taken by somebody who saw an opportunity to get people to go, oh, really? Did that commercial hurt you? Why? Why did that commercial hurt you? Because I'm Asian and they're saying that Asian people do karate. Mulan did karate. Asian karate in the martial arts, that is one of the great things to come out of Asian culture. How is pointing that out a bad thing? This wasn't Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Oh, Miss Golightly. This wasn't like some bad. This was a little girl having playtime and pretending to be a hero of hers. Mulan, obviously, was she an Anglo kid? Sure, absolutely, as a little white girl. So little white girls aren't allowed to be influenced or appreciate or see as a hero figure somebody that isn't another little white girl. I mean, my God. We got to move to a place in everyday life where someone offended by an innocent kid playing make-believe, playing fantasy in a commercial isn't some racist attack on a minority. That is moronic. That little girl was adorable. That little girl didn't mean any harm by it. The family was playing along. And you know what? They were forced. They're a Western family. They sit at a dinner table on chairs. What they were doing in that commercial was depicting the way people I've been to Chinese restaurants where they make you sit on the floor. That's a thing. That's a thing. And if you're not used to sitting on the floor, then it is a bit different. And he didn't say, I fucking hate the Chinks. They're making me sit on the goddamn floor. Give me some of them friggin' McNuggets. That's not what he said. The dad said jokingly, I'm used to being able to reach my food, which might be something very antiseptic that someone experiencing that culture and that way of dining might say. It is just an observation. It's not a racist take on a minority. Disney's like, we want to make a hero cartoon that glorifies Asian culture. That's all they wanted to do. That's all Disney wanted to do. Let's be inclusive here with this next bunch of cartoons that we put out. I think it'd be a cool thing if maybe we included, Asian culture, because everybody that we've done, whether it's Snow White or whatever, hell, there aren't even any black dwarves, Cinderella, all of this stuff. Pinocchio's a white guy. Why can't we? Let's do one where we make a hero out of an Asian character, huh? How about that? Oh, just as long as no white kids decide that they really appreciate this character and celebrate it and play fantasy about it. That was 1998. Would that still be considered offensive? Last week, I went to the St. Patrick's Day parade. I'm Irish. I'm 100% Irish. I saw some of the most offensive takes on Irish culture that a person could ever. And I thought it was fine. It was fun. There was no malice behind it. There was no hatred. There was no racist intent. It was just, the Irish people, they like to drink and wear green. Well, actually, they don't really. Green isn't a thing. That's, the country looks green from the air because there's a lot of moss and there's a lot of green. But, it's not like the people are running around head to toe in green all the time, drunk off their ass. It's not like every short person is a leprechaun, But if you like the Szechuan sauce, it's coming back. And apparently people say it's delicious. I'm going to go through a drive-thru. I'm going to say, hey, you got any of that racist Szechuan sauce? So that's why McDonald's Szechuan sauce is trending. Jeff Glenn, devil's advocate. If after the Fat Albert movie, McDonald's had a Fat Albert barbecue dipping sauce and the commercial had the white family expressing black stereotypes. Let's stop on that one. What was stereotypical about that? Were those stereotypes or were those honest depictions of a proud and ancient culture? Because I don't know. What is the difference? You say stereotype, and I say that the Asian culture is steeped in the origins of martial arts. And Mulan herself was a martial arts expert. So, is that a stereotype? I don't know. What are you saying? Why are you going stereotypes? You're looking to be negative. This is what I say, inauthentic attention whores. I want to be offended because nobody pays attention to me. And when I'm offended, people say, oh, what's wrong? And then in that minute, I feel like I have a platform to say something. And although I don't truly feel offended, I'm going to pretend like I am because people pay attention to me when I am. Oh, I'm so sick of this. Tough it up. Remember, Disney, the next time you tried to be inclusive, McDonald's, the next time you try to be inclusive, don't. Just keep everything white. McDonald's is a white company and it can only do white things. Disney, you're a white people company, only do white things. Because if you try to do anything else, if you try to be inclusive, if you try to be a little bit more, this drives me nuts. Sinatra is trending. Let's talk about a guy who didn't engage in stereotypes at all. Hey, Sinatra was a good dude, especially when it came to minorities. Sinatra refused to play places that wouldn't let Sammy stay in the hotel. Sinatra was an early warrior for civil rights. And yet he would get on stage and he would grab the small Sammy Davis Jr. and pick him up and walk to a microphone and say, I would like to thank the NAACP for this award. And people would laugh. They went crazy. Why? Because we didn't have inauthentic attention whores around every corner back then. They understood that there was no malice whatsoever in Frank Sinatra picking up his buddy, Sammy Davis Jr., walking up to the microphone and saying, I would like to thank the NAACP for this award. Why? Because the NAACP is a black organization and because Sammy Davis Jr. is black. And everyone who would get offended by that needs to be pulled aside and say, do you realize that there is no other white act in Las Vegas that even allows a black man on stage with them, but Frank Sinatra said he wouldn't play a room that wouldn't allow Sammy? Come on! Inauthentic attention whores. That's what we all are. Pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. I need somebody. I feel invisible. But if I'm hurt, somebody will be like, oh, why are you so hurt? Well, let me tell you. McDonald's has racist dipping sauces. And I'm a progressive. I am not one of these right MAGA alt-right weirdos. I am center left. That's where I am. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of this shit defining anybody with an open mind. Ooh, did you guys hear that? Did you hear that? All right, Jess. Take care, buddy. There goes Jess Johnson. He's out. Holy shit. Did you guys hear that thunder? Man, I got to tell you. I miss Texas thunder. Oh, man, when I was up in the Midwest, you people who have lived here your whole life, you don't get it. You don't get the difference between what thunder sounds like in other regions of the country and what thunder sounds like here in Texas. And it's because it's so flat. And it's because there are no major bodies of water to absorb it. Thunder is 10 times louder in Texas than it is, let's just say, in the Midwest, where it's all lush with river valleys and hills. And, there's an acoustical element that comes into play when thunder just boom over Texas land, which is, for the most part, flat. It's flat. It just comes down, it bounces off, and it's just, man, oh man. I remember years ago when I first moved to Texas, before I had moved back to the Midwest, I was freaked out. The first time I heard thunder, I thought the sky was falling. I thought there was something really bad about to happen. And then I kind of got used to it. And I'm like, well, yeah, thunder in Texas is just a whole lot louder than it is in Chicago or the suburbs or the Midwest in general. That was big. There is a car. Can you hear the car alarm? There's a car alarm. That thunder set off a car alarm down the street. That is crazy. All right, Sinatra is trending. Why is Sinatra trending? Because Mark Tremonti, who's guitar player for Creed, is doing a Sinatra tribute album. I'm all for it. I don't know. I don't think Creed is as bad as everybody says they are. I think that they're fine. They had their place as like a minor. They were big for about 6 months to a year, and then they just kind of went the way of Chumbawamba or any other like one-hit wonder bands that were really big for a little bit of time. I thought they sounded a little bit too much like Pearl Jam. I was like, oh well, Pearl Jam's not making records, so apparently they got these guys now. But Mark Tremonti is the guitar player for Creed, and it says here, Mark Tremonti calls it the most exciting musical project I've ever been involved in. Probably true for a guy who had to work with Scott Stapp, which after multi-platinum albums with Creed leading the band's Alter Bridge and his own band Tremonti, and making guest appearances on albums by Seven Dust and Bury Your Dead. Never heard of Bury Your Dead, but I'm glad they got a little bit of pub here. He is saying a lot. And rest assured, many of the heavy rock guitarists, heavy rock, really? Creed? Alter Bridge? Isn't that pop metal? Isn't that like pop alt rock? Heavy rock? I think Zakk Wylde might take a little bit of an offense at that. Tremonti Sings Sinatra, which comes out May 27th, is exactly what the title says. Tremonti put down his axe, put on a tailored suit and tie, and recorded 14 Frank Sinatra songs last year with a band comprised of more than a dozen of Sinatra's touring musicians and led by his musical director, Mike Smith. Proceeds will go to the National Down System Society. Oh, that Syndrome Society. That's why it's trending, because it's National Down Syndrome Day. All right, well, that's very nice. That's very nice, although, I would buy it just to support the Down syndrome charity. But if you want to hear Sinatra cover stuff, there are plenty of opportunities out there. There are lots of people who do. I will stick with the actual Sinatra records that you can find on Spotify or YouTube or wherever. By the way, the documentary, if you haven't seen it, Sinatra All or Nothing at All, oh, man, is that fantastic. Sinatra was a cool guy. I mean, I know he's not our generation. He's not your generation. He's not my parents' generation. He's more of like my grandparents' generation and maybe your great grandparents' generation. But timeless cool is timeless cool. That guy was cool. That guy was cool. He did everything right. He did just about everything right. When you look back, when you watch this documentary, a lot of people who were big, say between 1930 and 1980, a lot of those people have skeletons in their closet. A lot of those people have from time to time found that they were on the wrong side of history as history played out over the decades. Not Sinatra. Sinatra, time after time again, he was on the right side of history. He was provocative and controversial, and people were like, no, he's wrong. Get him out of here. Black people shouldn't be allowed to go to school with white kids. And Sinatra's like, no, actually they should. Let's ban Sinatra because he wants black kids to be able to go to school with white. I mean, that's just an example. But Sinatra was cool. All or Nothing at All. Fascinating documentary about this guy and about the level of power that he had in Hollywood. And he's personally, like one-on-one, he could be a dick. He was like arrogant and he had all of this power. He was like the emperor of Hollywood. Nobody crossed him, and anybody that did cross him was like kicked out of the Sinatra machine, which was all of Hollywood at that time. I mean, careers were ended. But on the big things, he was consistently on the right side of history. And just such a cool guy, just such a cool performer. All right. The opposite of that, Kid Rock is trending. That's right. Kid Rock is trending because Kid Rock apparently sat down with Tucker Carlson, and Tucker's going to be showing the Kid Rock interview tonight. Kid Rock claims that he is uncancelable. I wanted to show you this because here, look at this picture of Kid Rock from the sit down. This is crazy. Kid Rock's new look is so weird. It's such here. This is Kid Rock's look. It's not completely different. He's doing like a Clark Kent thing, where he puts on glasses so that people take him seriously. Look at that. That's Kid Rock. That is Garth from Wayne's World. That is Garth. Kid Rock throws on glasses and he becomes Garth from Wayne's World. Look at him. I saw the picture and I thought, is that Dana Carvey? Is Dana Carvey doing a bit? I'm like, oh my God, that's Kid Rock. Jeff Glenn says, I always like Dean more than Frank. Dean's very cool too, but Dean didn't have the kind of power and influence that Frank had. Dean was like B-list compared to Frank, and Dean wanted it that way. Dean, he was a little bit more low key. Frank was more power. Look at him though. That's Kid Rock. Kid Rock is looking just like Garth. All right. Now let's go back to someone cool. Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson is trending. So we had Mark Tremonti doing a tribute to Sinatra, which is cool. Kid Rock looking like Garth, which is not cool, to Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson is trending today. Willie Nelson, the Avett Brothers, ZZ Top set for an Outlaw Music Festival tour. Man, Willie is old. Willie is gonna be gone. I don't know how much time Willie's got left. Fingers crossed that he's immortal, but I don't think he is. But he's still out there touring. Willie Nelson and family will be headlining the Outlaw Music Festival tour starting in June alongside a rotating list of country music stars. Nelson will be joined by the likes of the Avett Brothers, ZZ Top, Brothers Osborne, Chris Stapleton, Nathaniel Rateliff, and the Night Sweats. Nathaniel Rateliff isn't country, but I don't care. He's cool. I like the Night Sweats. Jason Isbell. I love Jason Isbell. And it's full Jason Isbell. It's with the 400 unit. Well, I think it is. Let's see. Is it Jason Isbell and the 400? Yep, Jason Isbell and the 400 unit. Also set to perform on select dates are Billy Strings, Government Mule, Zach Bryan, Steve Earle, and the Dukes, Allison Russell, Charlie Crockett, Larkin Poe, The War and Treaty, Brittany Spencer, and Particle Kid. The tour begins June 24th at the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater in St. Louis before it wraps up on September the 23rd at the Waterfront Music Pavilion in Camden, New Jersey. Tickets go on sale Friday, starting at 10 a.m. local time. VIP packages will also be available. All right, let's see. Are we coming to Texas? We are. Holy guacamole. Look at this. Look at this. Willie Nelson's going to be in Dallas 4th of July weekend. I think it's going to be 4th of July. July 2nd, Dallas, Texas at Dos Equis Pavilion. What is Dos Equis Pavilion? What is that? Sorry, I still call it Smirnoff. What is Dos Equis Pavilion? Oh, God. You know what I'm talking about? What is Dos Equis Pavilion? Does anybody know? Can somebody tell me what Dos Equis Pavilion is? Is that what we're calling? Was it Smirnoff? Wasn't it Smirnoff for a bunch of years? Starplex. There you go, Jeff. Starplex. It was Starplex. It was Smirnoff. It was whatever. All right. Very good. Okay, that'll be fun. July. So the big outdoor shed, as they call it. July 2nd. What is July 2nd? What day of the week is July 2nd? Let me see here, because this will tell us what 4th of July is. I'll have my kid on for July. That's the month I get. So that would be a good concert to take him to. July 2nd is a Saturday. Oh, Saturday night, July 2nd in Dallas at Starplex. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it Starplex. July 2nd, Saturday night here in Dallas at Starplex. And then, oh my God. Woo! This is crazy. 4th of July. Awesome. 4th of July falls on a Monday. 4th of July is a Monday. So that means it's going to be a crazy weekend. We got Fridays the 1st, Saturdays the 2nd, Sundays the 3rd. And then, oh my God, by the time the actual holiday rolls around on the 4th, people are going to be out. Very good. Okay. So there you go. Good deal. Willie's out there touring. He's going to be touring. He's going to be here in Dallas on 4th of July weekend. U2 is trending. Why is U2 trending today? Well, I have to say, this is kind of interesting. I'm kind of interested in this. So I'll give you a little background. On I started watching Winning Time. Are you guys watching Winning Time, the HBO Max series about the 1980s LA Lakers, created by Adam McKay? Adam McKay's a genius. Adam McKay is just so good. And by the way, this is the series that broke up Adam McKay and Will Ferrell. For years and years and years, Adam McKay's business partner was Will Ferrell. And then Adam McKay started doing more serious stuff, like The Big Short and Vice. And he wasn't just doing like Step Brothers type stuff, which is great. Don't get me wrong. Adam McKay is hysterical, but he's also doing more. He wants to be a well-rounded, legit filmmaker who makes not just silly Will Ferrell movies. He's and by the way, Will Ferrell's fantastic. Will Ferrell's. This is not a knock on Will Ferrell. He's done some more dramatic stuff, and he probably will continue to do so. But Will Ferrell and Adam McKay ended their partnership. Gary Sanchez Productions, which was the name of their production company, Gary Sanchez, not the former catcher for the New York Yankees, but they actually had a production company called Gary Sanchez Productions, which was a character before there was a baseball player in Major League Baseball named Gary Sanchez. Will Ferrell had a character that he would do called Gary Sanchez. So Gary Sanchez Production became the Will Ferrell and Adam McKay production company. Will Ferrell wanted to play Jerry Buss in Winning Time, which is the Adam McKay HBO Max series about the 80s Lakers. And Adam McKay said, no, I don't want you to play. I'm sorry. I've got my heart set on John C. Reilly playing Jerry Buss, the owner of the Lakers. And we're not going to move on. And Will Ferrell just walked out and they dissolved their partnership. And it was over John C. Reilly, who is like Will Ferrell's buddy, which, is interesting. There's a book there. I want to read the story that is behind Will Ferrell ending his decades-long partnership with Adam McKay because his other friend, John C. Reilly, was cast in a role that he wanted for himself. On the surface, it doesn't reflect well on Will Ferrell. It seems like he's a bit of a baby, but at any rate, Winning Time, I've been watching it. And it's fascinating. 3 episodes in, it's weekly. It comes out weekly. I waited 3 weeks till there was 3 complete episodes of Winning Time. And it's very good, very interesting, especially if you remember that era of Los Angeles Lakers basketball. We haven't even played a game of basketball yet. We are 3 hours into this series. We are 3 episodes in. And Jerry West is still the basketball coach of the Lakers. He hasn't even actually, he did. He quit. Magic Johnson was just drafted. Boy, oh boy, though, I'm very excited. And Jerry Buss, John C. Reilly as Jerry Buss is fantastic. What a fascinating individual Jerry Buss was, the owner of the Lakers. Anyway, so I'm really enjoying this, and I've also been watching Pam and Tommy. I just wrapped up Pam and Tommy. I love these fictional depictions of real people. Fictional, I say, based in reality, but with some, creative elaboration done. Well, guess what? U2 is trending because Netflix is making a drama series about U2's early days coming up as a band. A Netflix series about U2 is in the works, and guess who's making it? J.J. Abrams. Okay, so it's legit. This isn't like going to be something stupid. This is going to be something big budget. From the writer behind Bohemian Rhapsody and executive produced by J.J. Abrams. Scrolling through Netflix and you still haven't found what you're looking for? Well, today's news could make this a beautiful day. Stop it. For you, if you're looking for a new music biography. A series diving into the history of U2 is in early development and set for release on Netflix in the coming years. The Hollywood Reporter has said that J.J. Abrams, Lost, Star Wars, Fringe, is executive producing on the new series through his production company, Bad Robot. By the way, Bad Robot is one of those production shingles you see before a movie starts. Anytime you see Bad Robot, it's going to be good. I've never seen a Bad Robot production that wasn't good. So I'm actually pretty enthused by that. Bad Robot is J.J. Abrams' company. The Hollywood Reporter has said that Abrams will be the executive. Oscar-nominated writer Anthony McCartan has been chosen to pen the script following the hugely successful Bohemian Rhapsody, a biographical drama telling the story of the rise of Queen. It's yet unknown whether the show will be made with or without U2, but it's expected that they will be overlooking the project in some capacity. While the band have written songs for film and television before, this will be the first fictionalized account of their actual history. The closest to a dramatic retelling of the band's origin is in the book-turned-film Killing Bono, which looked at U2's rise from the perspective of one of Bono's classmates. There have also been some documentaries and concert films made about the band, most notably 1988's Rattle and Hum. Bono recently released a new song dedicated to Charlie Bird ahead of the Climb with Charlie campaign, and it goes on to what he's doing there. But yeah, all right. So, this is going to be people playing. This isn't a documentary. This is going to be a series, a biographical series about the early days of U2, which I think could be fascinating. But I'm a Gen Xer, and, U2 is on the Mount Rushmore of Gen X bands. Let's see. What else do we have here? What else is trending? Urban Meyer is trending because The Athletic. I don't know if you guys like The Athletic. I love The Athletic. The Athletic is a sports. Basically, it's like a sports newspaper, except it's online. And they make you pay. It's behind a paywall, but it's like $1 a month. And it's so good. The Athletic, the writing in The Athletic, if you're a sports fan, the writing in The Athletic is so good. And for $1 a month, it's like, I can't afford not to be up to date on this stuff. The Athletic has published a story today about Urban Meyer and his time in Jacksonville, which is not good. They're talking to former players. They're talking to people within the Jacksonville, and nobody is holding their tongue. Everybody is going, yeah, he was a supreme douchebag. Nobody could believe what an a-hole Urban Meyer was. Here, I'll give you an example. One player, and I don't have the name of the player here, but one former Jacksonville player quotes Urban Meyer as saying, while watching game tape of the Los Angeles Rams, here's what Urban Meyer said while watching game tape of the Rams. Urban Meyer says, "Who is this 99 guy? He looks like he could be a problem for us." Aaron Driver, Super Bowl MVP. Yeah, he didn't know. He's also, it says here that he didn't know who Deebo Samuel was. He didn't know who Aaron Driver, Donald Driver. Oh, sorry. Crazy. He didn't know half the players in the league. Unless they were saying, the player came out of the Big Ten, which is where he was coaching, he didn't know. He was just totally unfamiliar with the NFL. So there you go. If you want to read a funny story, who is this 99 guy? He looks like he could be a problem for us. Oh yeah. Maury Povich is trending. Why is Maury Povich trending? Maury Povich is trending because he's ending his show after 30 years. I had no idea that. Who is still watching Maury Povich? Who is home in the middle of the day and isn't watching Netflix or who is still watching over-the-air TV? Maury Povich reacts to end of his series, as I occasionally tell my guest, enough already, folks. Maury Povich is stepping down. He's an old dude, too. He's 83 years old at this point. Maury Povich is reacting to the end of his popular daytime talk show series. Shortly after people confirmed that Maury will end production after this series, the 83-year-old host said in a statement that the decision to end the show was long planned and that he is ready for retirement. 6 years ago, when I was ready to retire, the NBC Universal family asked me to continue the show, Maury said in a statement obtained by People magazine. Even though I told them I was ready for assisted living, out of loyalty to NBC Universal and my more than 100 staff and crew members, I agreed to do one more deal with them. I'm so proud of my relationship with NBC Universal and all those who worked on the Maury show, he added. But as I occasionally tell my guests on Maury, enough already. Notice he didn't say he's proud of the show. He didn't say that. All right, so there you go. I had no idea more. Honestly, if you had said to me like this morning before I started dipping into these trending topics, Maury Povich, dead or alive, I'd be like, oh, I think he died. Didn't he die? No, not only is he not dead, but his show is still on. I thought all of those kinds of shows were replaced by angry judge shows, right? I thought that's all we had now. I thought there were two kinds of daytime TV. A bunch of D-list Hollywood women sitting around a table talking current events and angry judges. I thought that was it. I didn't know that there was still a lane for the Maury Poviches. I didn't know there was still like a whole white trash show. Although, those are all kind of white trash shows if you think about it. All right, that's why Maury Povich is trending. And the last one that I have from the initial rundown that I put together, those many hours ago, Joe Rogan. It's been quiet for a couple of weeks. See, do you know what Joe Rogan did? God bless you, Joe Rogan. God bless you. The whole world for 10 days. Let's kill him. Let's get him. Let's end him. Let's get him thrown on Spotify. And then the entire angry outrage world went, what's that? Something else. Huh? All you got to do, Trump taught us this. Trump, I'll tell you, man, the best thing that Trump taught America, maybe the only thing, or the only good thing, ignore it. Ignore it. When the, as Aaron Rodgers says, the woke mob, when the outrage chorus or the woke mob goes, mang, 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 just go, I'll be over here when you guys are all tuckered out from complaining about me. That's what Joe Rogan did. Still on Spotify. Spotify's not doing anything. They just weathered it. They just put up with it. Which is why I get so pissed at Al Franken. Al Franken didn't know this. Al Franken could have weathered that whole thing and he'd still be in the Senate today. He'd be up for re-election. He'd win in a landslide because he was very popular. But no, he didn't. They crumbled. Everybody used to crumble to the outrage chorus. That's changing, though. Joe Rogan didn't crumble. By the way, why is he trending today? Is this another Spotify thing? No, not at all. Well, Spotify, they've moved on. Spotify's keeping Joe Rogan and all the people who were so worked up and complaining about it, they've moved on. They moved on to something else because those idiots have short attention spans. There you go. Joe Rogan is trending because he has announced that he has not asked and would not allow President Trump to come on his podcast. Apparently, it's been circulating in the rumor mill that Trump was going to be going on the Joe Rogan show, and Joe Rogan himself has come out now and said that no, they've been trying to get on this show for years, and we keep telling them the same thing. Nope, we don't want you on the show. We're not going to sit down. Joe Rogan says that one time in 2020 or whenever it was, towards the end or just before the election, the Trump White House invited Rogan to come to the White House and do a sit-down podcast with Trump in the Oval Office. And Rogan said, no, that's not what we do. And then they had all of these like contingents, these rules. And he was like, no, that's not what we do. If, he was, we don't operate the show that way. And so people are saying the host of the Joe Rogan Experience set the record straight after rumors that the former president was due to appear on the Spotify show began circulating on social media last week. The rumors appear to have emerged after Trump appeared on another podcast in recent weeks. However, Rogan, who is reportedly the biggest podcaster in the world with an estimated 11 million listeners per episode, is adamant that he will not be inviting Trump to join him anytime soon. See, this is the thing about Joe Rogan that Joe Rogan is not a Trump guy. Joe Rogan makes fun of Trump. He calls him a silly man. He says the whole thing is silly. And this is also, but because he's, all over the spectrum as far as things that he believes, we find it easier to just, when one person runs afoul of a certain way of thinking, they must be categorized with he's not a Trump guy. He's never been a Trump guy. He endorsed Bernie Sanders. He's a Bernie bro. That's what he is. But, he didn't like the whole coronavirus thing. So obviously he's a MAGA whatever. But at any rate, yeah. So Rogan has now come out and said, Trump's not coming on the show. I don't want him on the show. That's not something I'm into. Again, he endorsed Bernie, which is like, to the MAGA crowd, Bernie is like the worst. All right, that's it. That's all I have as far as things that I've prepared for today's show. But let's take a look, shall we? Let's see if anything new is going on here. Seems like the weather has passed. Seems like it's am I going to get my run in, or am I going to be able to not run today because I'm worried I could slip in a puddle and break my leg because I'm an old man. Matt Ryan, that's still trending at number 1. Done deal. The Falcons are trading former NFL MVP Matt Ryan to the Colts for a 2022 third-round pick. Okay, well, Ryan's a little bit older. He's a bunch of years removed from when he was the NFL MVP. But a third-round pick. Wow. All right, so then who do the Falcons get? Oh, wasn't it reported that the Falcons were looking at Marcus Mariota? But Baker Mayfield's out there. Okay. Judge Jackson. That's Ketanji Brown Jackson. She's trending. She's one up for Supreme Court. And I don't talk about that stuff. I don't care about that. I mean, I care about that stuff. I just don't. What's the point? What's the point? You're not allowed to have fluid opinions on that kind of thing. You have to be. Supreme Court is trending. Let's see here. Jameis Winston is trending. You said you were not going to get into sports stuff. No, I know, but I'm just kind of. I couldn't tell if that was somebody knocking at the door or what. Jameis Winston and the Saints have agreed to a 2-year deal. Okay, so Jameis Winston is there we go. Jameis Winston is staying with the Saints. Some hockey stuff. We don't need that. I'm just trying to see if there's anything new that we have here. Kylie Jenner is still trending. Riverdale DJ Khalid is trending. Meet the 5th slate of presenters for the 94th Oscars. I so don't care about the Oscars. I really don't. And there you go. And Kenny Pickett, who was Pittsburgh's quarterback. He's trending. University of Pittsburgh. He's going to be drafted. All right, let's see if there's anything else that we got here. See what's trending over on Google before I delve into the chat conversations to see what you people have been talking about while we've been going through all these topics. I'm a little bit worried. Although a lot of you people, you've been cool lately. It's like you're not just trying to start fights for no reason. All right, Atlanta Falcons, Detroit Red Wings, Apple iPhone, the Home Depot, Riverhead firefighters stop a fire at a Home Depot. Okay, I don't know where that is. Winnipeg Jets, Apple iCloud, Montreal Canadiens, Austin. Hail, tornado threats prompt early closure of schools. All right, so we've got some bad weather south of here. We got some bad weather here. It's dark and gray. Dairy Queen. Remember, Dairy Queen is still trending. Get that free small vanilla ice cream cone at Dairy Queen. But be prepared to wait in line for like an hour plus for your free small vanilla ice cream cone. If you got time for that, got time to lean, you got time to clean. Colin Kaepernick wants to play in the NFL again, and he was in New Orleans for a tryout. Look at that. There you go. Minnesota Vikings make significant jump in recent Super Bowl odds. The Indianapolis Colts. All right, Tennessee Titans. See, there's nothing. I'm sorry, folks. There's just not a whole lot of interesting stuff. Today is dominated by baseball, hockey, football, NCAA tournament, and reasons to either adore or reasons to despise Judge Brown, who's in front of the Senate today. So take your pick. Because if you want to hate her, you can. You can find everything right there to hate her. If you want to love her, you can. There's all that stuff provided for you too. Nothing. Okay, that's it. There is nothing new happening here. Let me jump in. Let's talk. Let's talk about what y'all have been talking about. Let's go all the way back to the beginning of the show. All right, there's Jeff Glenn making me feel crazy because he said there was an echo. We're going to move on past that. Jen Hernandez says hi. Hi, Jen. April is here. Leslie is here. We lost a Leslie. I am telling you. I don't know what happened to the other Leslie, but she has not been around. Apparently, she's angry at me. She's supporting the show. She's sending me food, doing all kinds of really nice things, and then all of a sudden, nothing. No Leslie. I feel terrible. Anyway, Jennifer Blair Martin is here. Hi. Byron is here as always. Jeff is here as always. Kevin is here. All right, hold on. Let's move through here. So Brady says at least until the weather shit show starts later today. Are we supposed to get really bad weather later today? Let me see. Because I love bad weather. I mean, as long as, it's not like cataclysmic end of days build an ark kind of weather. But if it's going to be like thundery and stuff, ooh. There's a wind advisory. We got heavy thunderstorms. When are they going to be moving through? I got to go to the store then. I got to buy some food. Because I can't be in a storm locked into the house with nothing but like apples. Because that's pretty much what I got right now. I got apples. Yeah, heavy thunderstorms between 3 and 6. And then just rain showers until about 9 o'clock. There you go. All right. Jeff Glenn had a terrible fall and spent Friday night in the ER. Can't put any weight on his left leg. I have to see an ortho to see if I have to have surgery on my knee and or ankle. Jeff, what's happening, buddy? Oh my God. Byron, yeah, what the fuck happened between you and nothing that I'm aware of. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just, I hope she's all right. That's my concern, is that I hope she's all right. I don't know. I should go look at I'm not on Facebook, so I don't know if. Oh no. Okay. All right. Hey Jeff, I'm right now. I'm covering your incident. I need to know details. A terrible fall. I mean, you're just begging for me to go, what do you mean a terrible fall? Jeff, you're my age. We're not supposed to be having terrible falls. That's like at least 15 years away. Terrible falls are not things. Although Jeff's just banged up to begin with. Jeff's battling some stuff. She unfriended me? Really? Hold on. Let me go on Facebook. Let me see if she's unfriended me. Why would she do that? I honestly, absolutely nothing. I'm absolutely nothing. Hold on. Let me see here. No, she says friends, 14 mutual friends. She hasn't unfriended me. I don't know. No, it says we're friends. I'm on it right now. I don't know. All right. Let's hope she's all right. I miss seeing her here in the chat room. But you know what? Let's just hope she's okay. Jeff says, I hurt myself slipping in mud fishing with my boys. That's the best kind of hurt. If you're going to hurt yourself, at least you made memories. Now your kids will laugh about it in the future. I'm sorry. I'm just glad it's not related to any other issue that you got going on. Brady says F1 June 17th through 19th. That's the Montreal circuit. He wants me to get involved in that. All right. Well, I'm going to watch all the races. I had so much fun watching the F1 races yesterday morning, because it was in like Dubai. So it was on at like 9 in the morning or something. It was cool. Kenny Jenkins is here. He says, greetings from Doctor's Moines. I'm guessing that's Des Moines. Okay, let's see. All right, let's keep going. Jeff says, anything you can do with a strawberry, you can do twice as good with a raspberry. Today is California Strawberry Day, and I talked about how strawberries are the most overrated fruit. They have the most potential of any fruit because a truly good strawberry is a magnificent example of God's art. It is just fantastic. A truly good strawberry. Unfortunately, 99 out of 100 strawberries only look like they're good, and then they're not. You bite into it and you're like, no, that was much ado about nothing. I don't agree. I don't agree. I don't like raspberries either. Raspberries just taste like tart dirt. Oh, Jeff says he started the HBO series about the Lakers last night. It's good. It's so 70s. I love it. Well, it's actually 80s, but yes, the 80s hadn't really started yet because I think it kicks off in 1980. So it is good. I love it too. I love John C. Reilly as Jerry Buss. He is awesome. April says West Texas. Yeah, West Texas. It's where the check stop is, right there between like Waco and Austin. It blew up. Tom, it blew up. Like it blew up. Remember West Texas blew up the day after the Boston Marathon bombing? That fertilizer plant in West Texas went, but nobody remembers that because something happened in Boston, and East Coast biased is all I'm saying. If something happens in New York City and then something 100 times worse occurs in Iowa, you are not going to hear anything about the thing that occurred in Iowa because all of the people who create and produce the news live in and around New York City, and they're going to cover what's important to them. It's called an East Coast bias. Okay, there we go. Those two girls on the Amber Alert were found. Ed Silla is suggesting that the Chinese airplane that crashed was pilot suicide. God, I hope not. God, I hope not. I don't need that out there. I don't need that to be a thing. I plan on flying in the future. I don't need that to become a thing. Ross says regarding Ted Cruz was trending because he was in Bozeman, Montana, and he was throwing a shit fit at the ticket agent because he was late for his plane. Although we couldn't hear, what he was saying, and he didn't look all of that animated. But you are right. If you are late for your flight, you don't have any right to be angry at the ticket agent because Just Johnson says no comedy censorship. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I agree with you in theory, but I do think that there are some things that might be masquerading as comedy that really, truly are not comedy. They're just terrible things. So never say no and then, broad strokes anything. Remain open-minded to everything, case-by-case basis. I know it's exhausting taking things on a case-by-case basis, but it's, it's the way you got to do it. Just Johnson. All right, hold on. I'm still. Oh, let's see what else we got here. Byron says he'd have been strung up long ago if we here in America were free to be assholes. That's right. You are free to be an asshole. You are also free to be a kind, loving, and decent person. I don't understand why you would pick the asshole road, but that's just me. What do I know? I'm just a godless agnostic who, would prefer that we all be kind and loving and decent to one another. Byron says he's still got a box filled with Live 105.3 garbage. So do I, somewhere. It's my shoebox of life. I've got a couple of stupid things. Ross Rubio is going to continue watching American Ninja. He doesn't care. Let's see. I personally didn't think there was anything wrong with it. That commercial, says Jeff Glenn, because there isn't anything wrong with that commercial. We're talking about the Mulan Disney / McDonald's Happy Meal commercial from 1998. McDonald's came out with a Mulan themed Happy Meal. And there was a sauce in this Happy Meal called Szechuan sauce. And people loved the Szechuan sauce, but McDonald's threw it in the safe. They threw it in the McDonald's safe, and they're bringing it back now after what? 24 years, because they're like, hey, you know what? Remember that sauce that got swept up in the whole "we made an accidental racist Mulan" commercial bit? We should bring that sauce back because people seem to like it. So McDonald's is bringing back the racist Szechuan sauce. And so we watched the commercial. We watched the commercial for McDonald's Happy Meal, which featured a little girl doing a whole Asian-themed dinner party for her brother and her dad, and she was imitating Mulan. Mulan is a heroic character who is, knows martial arts. It's a little Asian girl, and this girl is Mulan an Asian girl? I don't even know. I never saw Mulan. I was like 30 when Mulan came out, with no kids. So if I'm going to see Mulan in 1998, put me on a list. By the way, you're going to want to tune into Pillow Talk tonight because we're going to watch some videos of some predators getting caught. 9:00 Central Time. Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. All right. Anyway, yeah, it wasn't racist. It was just, that's a white girl doing karate. Yeah, white girls do karate. Those are those are white Americans experiencing an Asian culture, an Asian dining culture, and they're admitting that it's different than what they're used to. So it must be racist. Right? Like some Asian restaurants, you have to sit on the floor because that's how they do it in their culture. Well, that was depicted in the McDonald's commercial where this little girl had these Happy Meals and everybody was sitting on the floor and the dad and the son have to sit Indian style. And they're like, hey, this is different than how we do it. That's racist, pointing out that it's different. I hate people. I hate outrage whores. That's right. If you want to see Kid Rock, he's going to be on Tucker Carlson tonight. Looking just like Garth from Wayne's World. Rob Barr says, I wish we had thunderstorms. I miss that so much. Well, you're out there in San Francisco, Rob. Don't you have thunderstorms in San Francisco? You got earthquakes. Byron quoting Frank Costanza from Seinfeld, I ain't taking my shoes off for nobody. Oh, this is interesting. The terrible car accident that occurred last week that killed a number of collegiate golfers from University of the Southwest. We had been talking about this story, and it turned out that the driver of the pickup truck was a 13-year-old who was also killed, and his father. Jennifer Blair Martin says the 13-year-old driver, it was confirmed it was his dad. Yeah, but they still haven't announced the kid's name. But yeah, they're referring to the man as the father. Apparently, that family was wheels off. Their house burned down in what may or may not have been a meth lab. The dad was about to be sentenced for spousal abuse. Now, the reason I read that is because that is different from what I read about this family. I mean, I know about the house burning down. They lost everything in a house fire last year. I did not know about the spousal abuse. I did not know about it being that they thought it was a meth lab. I only read one small blurb about it yesterday, and it was someone had said that that's Mennonite country. They were Mennonites. And it was an article where they interviewed their pastor or preacher or Mennonite, whatever. And he said that, yeah, the whole community rallied around them after they lost everything in a house fire, and that they were like strictly religious people. So I didn't know about this meth lab thing. So I'm going to look into that. Thank you, Jennifer, for putting that on because I guess it all depends on the news story that you read. The one that I read sort of portrayed them as a family who had been through hell. But that's interesting. I'll look into that. Byron says, what the hell happened between you? Oh, we've already talked about I don't know, but now I'm freaking out. She's been a good friend of mine for years. I don't know. But you know what? She also yells at me a lot in the chat room, like when I say things. And so I don't know. Could I have said something that made her mad? I don't think so. I don't know. I'm just glad. I'm glad that it's just that she's mad at me and that she's fine, because I was worried. I was like, oh, what happened to my girl? All right. And I don't really, if she's mad at me about, did I have a take? I mean, I just can't. I can't be upset at that. I mean, Rob Barr says he gets one crack of thunder a year out there in San Francisco. Byron uses his assholiness for good. He also feels that he's the perfect mixture of asshole and humanitarian. All right, I guess that's it. Oh, wait. April says, what's this one with April? Hold on. Why can't I read this? Hold on. I don't want to ignore April. I was talking about when the fertilizer plant exploded in West Texas, the town of West Texas, not the region that is in the western sector of Texas. April says, we remember it around here in Waco. Yeah, I remember. It was the day after the Boston Marathon bombing. A kid from my son's T-ball got injured in the explosion. 5 years old, standing in front of his living room window when the blast occurred, and it blinded. Oh, my God. Yeah, it killed a whole bunch of firefighters who were there putting out the fire. It was terrible. Okay. All right, guys, that's it. I think we're good. I think we are going to be wrapping this up. Tonight, you can come join us. Won't you? You know what? I did not take one drink of water. I am not going to drink. Where's Adam Reyna, too? What the hell? We had no Adam Reyna today. We did have a couple of new people that I saw pop into the chat room, but no Adam. Was Adam Reyna in the chat room today? I mean, having Byron Granger without Adam Reyna is like having peanut butter without chocolate. I can't. Toodles, April. There she goes. She's going to bog out. See, the show started late today because there were a whole bunch of problems. So I didn't connect everything. And there I was just playing the theme song. I was just playing the closing theme song. And I didn't realize that it wasn't connected. There we go. I have got my poetry. I have got my songs. but do you have your meds? That's really what I'm most concerned about with you, John Hinckley. Do you have your medications?
To see me through the lonely nights, help me to be strong.
Your nights are only lonely because you're fishing in the wrong pond, John. You're obsessed with a Hollywood film actress, Jodie Foster. Set the sights a little bit lower, and quite frankly, maybe do a Google search about Jodie Foster, because it's never going to happen, dude. Your nights don't have to be lonely. You're a rich guy. Your family has all kinds of oil money. You are not somebody who is unbangable. Maybe since the whole tried to kill the president thing, be a little bit more difficult for you, but you're a man with money. There is no reason why you should be lonely.
I am like the dancing bear, trained to be the best.
At what?
I am on a never-ending quest. I can smile a little now, things are going good. I always had to be on guard, that is understood. It has been a journey, a multi-answer test. I am on a never-ending quest.
All right, everybody, we'll be back tonight at 9 o'clock.
Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come.
The best is yet to come.
I found a different way, so baffling to some.
All right, bye, everybody. We'll see you tonight at 9 o'clock for Pillow Talk.
I got an old guitar, that is all I need. I don't need no 401, I don't have the green.